It's Friday, October 23rd, 2015, and let's talk about what happened this week over at xdadevelopers.com. First up, Blackberry let some more info about their upcoming PRIV device slip out over on their site. It popped up as a pre-order for $749 in the US, and it said that it would be shipping on November 16th. It looks like a really interesting device, but I'm not quite sure that it's $750 worth of interesting. Robin, the cloud-based phone from Nextbit that just finished up its Kickstarter project, is now available for pre-order for just $399. So if you missed out on their Kickstarter project and you're willing to wait until February to receive your device, head on over to their site. HTC unveiled its newest device this week, the One A9, which, strangely enough, is a middle-of-the-road device with a Snapdragon 617 and either 2 gigs of RAM with 16 gigs of storage, or 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage, depending on where you live. Pre-orders for that are going right at $400 right now, but that price is a limited time offer, so it's going to be going up eventually, so do act fast if that sounds like something you're looking for. Speaking of the A9 though, a system image dump has shown up on the forums thanks to XDA-recognized contributor LabTufer, so if you want to dig into it, check out his thread. Now that the Nexus 5X has started arriving, like mine did earlier today, Google has rolled out Android 6.0 factory images for it to their site. And while the 128GB Nexus 6P is completely sold out on Google's site right now, you can still order it directly from Huawei's site in both aluminium and graphite. Just keep in mind, it has an estimated ship date of late November, and it's not going to come with that $50 in Google Play credit. Speaking of the Nexus 6P, some information has come to light that the 6P has a hardware feature in it called Q-Fuse, which is a bit of a ticking time bomb. Basically, if you unlock your device, which a lot of Nexus owners are probably gonna do, the Q-Fuse gets tripped, and it cannot be reversed with any sort of software tweaks, which is totally confusing. Presumably, it's to make Android Pay more secure. Still, a bit of a confusing feature to have on what would normally be considered a development device. Moving right along, this week Motorola rolled out the kernel source code for Android 5.1.1 for the Moto Max, so it should be a bit easier to do dev work on it if you're into that. Sony has started rolling out their experimental Marshmallow concept to users of the Xperia Z3 and Z3 Compact in some countries, so if you got in on that Marshmallow concept program, be on the lookout for updates. If not though, XDA senior member I'm Putaz released the guide from Sony showing you how you can manually install it on your Z3. A new build of Cyanogen 12.1 for the OnePlus One was released recently, mostly just bug fixes and patches, but if you haven't gotten it on your device yet, XDA portal supporter Tito Khan found the URL for it, so it can be sideloaded pretty easily. CyanogenMod has added nightly builds for the 2015 Moto E 4G, which is great considering that Motorola might actually be abandoning that device as far as updates are concerned. An official build of TWRP is now available for the Nexus 5X, though it doesn't support decrypting data on it quite yet. XDA senior member Cryos put out a quick guide on unlocking tethering on the Nexus 6 running Marshmallow, though that same guide also works on KitKat on that device. Early builds of AOS Paradox based on Android 6.0 were released this week for both the 2013 Moto G and the OnePlus One, but keep in mind there are still some bugs in them. They're still early builds. XDA recognized developer Quarks released an alpha build of CM13 for the Asus Padphone S and X, but unfortunately the tablet and camera don't work properly on it yet. Just a matter of time. XDA senior member M4J Key pulled together a couple of tweaks for the HTC One M9's camera, so if you're not terribly impressed with it, those might help out a little bit. XDA recognized contributor Omaminde put out a guide showing you how to flash Windows Phone 8 or Windows 10 Mobile to your Lumia device. Looking through the thread, it's kind of hard to get a sense of which specific Lumia devices this works on, but people seem to be having issues with some of the lower end ones and the ones that are locked down. Either way, if you have a Lumia Windows Phone and you're looking to upgrade it, his thread is a good place to start. And finally, a bit of XDA specific news. First, XDA previously recommended using a file hosting site called DevHost for your development work, but it was discovered that they were doing some pretty nasty things, so it's recommended that you avoid using DevHost at this time, and try using other sites like Android FileHost, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, so on and so forth. Also, as I've said more than a few times at this point, I'm going to be going to DroidCon London with XDA next week, and apparently Honor has reached out and offered to fund 8 tickets for you guys. as long as you can find a way to get yourself to London and find a place to stay there and everything. Head on over to the portal post for specifics and instructions on how you can try to get in on that giveaway. And finally, 2 other videos were posted to XDA TV this week. TK announced a giveaway of 10 Bluetooth speakers, then the 4th episode of the XDA/Android podcast was released. But you know what? That's gonna be about all from me for today. You can find the links to all of the stories that I talked about down in the video description as usual, as well as the links to my YouTube channels. Remember, if you like this video, please do leave us a thumbs up down below the video. We definitely appreciate it. And subscribe to receive all of our videos as soon as they become available. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.